Welcome back to another episode of the Innovate on Purpose podcast, hosted by Matt Mueller,
best-selling author of The Mindful Innovator and Rethink Retail's top retail expert.
We can help retail leaders find clarity so they can grow their businesses purposefully.
We will uncover mindful tips, innovative solutions, and purposeful leadership advice and strategies that you can apply immediately to your retail innovation. Are you ready to innovate on purpose?
Hey, before we jump into the episode today, I just wanted to say thank you for hitting the play button. You being here fires me up, and I cannot wait to share with you the insights that are going to make a difference in your business. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and leave a review so I can reach as many retail leaders as possible. They too need to hear this. Okay, let's do it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Innovate on Purpose, brought to you by The Mindful Innovator. I'm your host, Matt Mueller, keynote speaker and best-selling author of the book, The Mindful Innovator. And today I have here with me Sabrina Cherubini, who is the SVP of Brand and Digital at Hanky Panky. This is an amazing conversation that we're going to have today that really is it strikes a chord with me. I ran a brand innovation team that was 115 years old. The brand was ancient, right? And to create change within that culture can be so difficult. And really, it comes down to how do we innovate within that space? How do we transform a company that has been around for so long? Because markets evolve, customers evolve, business models need to evolve. Otherwise, our brands disappear and erode. So Sabrina is here today to talk about what does brand and digital look like at Hanky Panky, and what are they doing to transform? Because there's a long history there as well. But Sabrina, welcome to the show today.
Well, thanks, Matt. So nice to see you again.
It is great to see you. Of course, it's great to see you again. And just full disclaimer, Sabrina and I, we actually did an interview together back at the Lead Summit in New York City just a couple of months ago, and it was such an insightful conversation. I needed to have you on the show, so I'm so grateful that you were willing to come onto the show today. So,
my pleasure, Matt.
Absolutely. Sabrina, again, can you give the audience just a little bit of your background and what you're doing today at Hanky Panky?
Yeah, sure. So it's a little bit unusual. I originally come from Paris. I spent 10 years in global advertising agencies. Lucky to work, for the big ones, the Lil Burnett, Publicis, Havas, etc., on global accounts, specifically in retail, fashion, lifestyle. And I learned a lot from that, experience around how to connect with customers. I think, we have amazing, creative teams there. They create some compelling campaigns. I love this, really focus on strategy. And then 10 years ago, I moved to San Francisco and realized that, the way of working in the US is a little bit different when it gets to, branding and marketing. And I was lacking, I would say, some data analytics, skills coming from agencies. And I started to work for large corporations, really bring my marketing background and advertising background to them, but also growing as a data-driven customer marketer. So I worked for big ones. Before Hanky Panky, I was at Lofton & Taylor, leading their marketing and customer strategy. I loved it, but COVID, a lot of changes, in retail happened. That's when I had, the opportunity to connect my values and what I was looking for with, meeting with founders of an amazing brand that honestly I heard of, but had no idea what a journey was. So I met the founders of Hanky Panky. Hanky Panky is an affordable luxury brand that has been around for 47 years. Was founded by women. It's led by women, but their main mantra, I would say, when they started, even in the 70s, just like intimate is designed and created by men for women, but without understanding what's, expected from women and how to make them feel good every day. So they started the company, they created a gem, or, best-selling product sales every 10 seconds over 70 countries. But they were in the midst of a big transformation. So I know we'll talk about it, but customers were changing, channels were changing, and they wanted to bring a leader that could lead this transformation and build their DTC business. So I'm so glad I made the move and joined this team. So it's been almost 3 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. And there's a lot of great changes happening in the last 3 years. So really, really cool. And I can't wait to dive deeper into that. But like when we think about like Hanky Panky, you've been around for half a century. Like it's amazing that, that the industry, lingerie industry was men designing for women. It's just like, it's like a no duh to have women come in. So back when they first were founded, it already is an innovative company and it's thinking about the industry completely differently. Like what was like the early days like at Hanky Panky? Like what was their main focus?
Listen, first, it's very bold as two women to create a company in the 70s. Imagine, like go back 50 years ago. I think their boldness it's just something that remains. They wanted to innovate. They wanted to create something that will be different from the offering on the market. And they did across the first, few decades from, inventing the thong, this lace thong that is still, our signature, lace today. It took them 16 years to perfect these products.
Wow.
And the only way to do it was to be very close to what women expect, how they move, their anatomy, how they feel, how they want to feel, not just what they look like for someone else. So a lot of work, around customers, even in the 80s, if you think about it, but also building, sourcing, and manufacturing in the US. There's no way you can replicate, and everyone tried, this product and perfect it the way we did if you do not control the quality aspect of it. So this lace is still, made in the US. Production is mostly here in the US too, because we have such a gem of a product. And they started that way. What really helped the company to scale was creating this product in the 80s when women started to go to work and understood that they didn't have to dress like men to perform or to be seen as competent. So these changes in culture and society changed the way they dressed and their expectations. So they wanted a thong, but they wanted a comfortable thong, something that can reflect their femininity and how they want to feel. And that was really the beginning of a big story, the international development, et cetera, et cetera. Since then, they started, a lot of other lines, but I would say that was the cornerstone.
And back when they first started, the model was mostly wholesale, right? It was like where they focused in on developing the product and selling it into other stores and wholesaling it, right?
Exactly. And for many decades, we're in all the premium, department stores in the US, in Europe, in Japan, etc., because that's where the customer was. So you build a company around wholesale. They had a website, I think, since, 2010, but didn't see the potential immediately. Things change, as you know, customers want to shop when they want to shop. They want to shop online. Sometimes they want to go to a store to experience the brand in a different way. And wholesale is still relevant, right? You just need to be where women are. And that's when they started really to think about, okay, wholesale cannot be the only way for us to connect to customers. And there are limitations also on, getting your customers' feedback. And they've been so close to women for so long that just having a buyer in front of you is not, always helpful. You want to understand what the customer feels. So when I joined 3 years ago, it was really to develop the DTC business that I would say now we have a strong e-com business. We ship globally, and we developed also our own stores as a kind of a testing phase. And now DTC is close to 50-50 with wholesale. And all of this happened over the last 5 years.
That's absolutely amazing just how much it has grown and so fast. Like when you told me that when we met in New York, I was blown away with it. But yeah, so like a brand that was wholesale, they saw the need for change and diversification in the model because it was that was their only channel, and how much of like the business was being lost to other DTC brands and stores that like Victoria's Secrets. What was like the and I'm not sure if you know this, Sabrina, since you only been there for 3 years, but was it like that? What was like the light bulb moment at a Hanky Panky where they said, yeah, we need to do something about this? Was there like that a moment that was like stands out that says we need to have BND to?
Yeah, I think they thought about it for a long time. I think they established really the foundations of it, but really needed someone who could build a team and bring it forward. What's unusual with, Hanky Panky is you have such a strong heritage. The brand itself has so many things to say. I worked in agencies. I worked for brands where, it's just like, what can I say? Like, I don't have a lot to say. So you have to make up stories, right? For Hanky Panky, it's a lot. Think about the US manufacturing, the craftsmanship, the women-led and founded. Everything that is behind the product brings a lot of differentiation points. So I think it's a combination and the opportunity to reach more customers through income where they are and when they want to shop, but also the opportunity to own your brand experience, show what we stand for. This company is a purpose-driven company, very sustainable, with a strong, our brand purpose is to uplift all the versions of you. And when we say that, we're not just referring to body shapes or backgrounds. We're talking about all the versions of you through your life stage, moment, but also your anatomy and everything, in between. If you don't have the direct connection to your customers, it's very hard to create and kind of explain the experience and the purpose of it. So that was really a conjunction of two, like the business opportunity, but also how can we differentiate this brand that has nothing, we're not competing with the big ones. Like we bring something different to the table, but we're very strong being an omni-channel company, having wholesale, having e-com, having our own stores, being on Amazon as well with some, basic products. It's not, DTC brands had to struggle over the past few years. And the stability of an omni-channel business is also very nice to experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a definitely great side effect of it is just, you're always on, the stores are always open. Just don't have to worry about a pandemic, right?
We do that. Not a lot of brands do. Coming from DTC, I saw the potential of doing something that I haven't heard of before. He said, let's test small runs on e-com. Let's talk to our customers directly. So we treat e-com as a lab. We test something, and then the wholesale team can really talk to buyers and explain what happened. We launched swim last year in a small way on our e-com. Very high quality premium swim, staples, etc. for women. We launched in a very successful way. We got also feedback from our customers. We perfected the line. And we were able a year after to show to our buyers in wholesale. That's a product that has been tested, tried, and we got the feedback, we improved it, and that's the customer who came, new versus, existing, demographics, etc. And we know they appreciate that. So it's a safe, buy for them when they know that we tested the product before. So thinking omnichannel is really thinking that way for us, and we're evolving, transforming a company over the last, let's say, 2 years towards being customer centric and not just, a wholesale focus. Takes the village.
Yeah, absolutely. They must be so grateful to have brought you on to help lead that charge with the D2C and bringing it to life as it does.
Right, without leaders who are just, sharing the same vision.
Yeah.
Wholesale, merch, design, and, leadership. So, okay, that's where we want to go. How do we get there together? Otherwise, you can be a change agent. You cannot do it by yourself. So I would say the pace we're going at, it's impressive. Sometimes I think we're too slow. And when I look back at 2 years, I'm like, oh my God, what we accomplished as a team with, the same focus has been amazing.
Yeah, definitely. It's a reminder to celebrate those successes because we can get so lost and wrapped up in the moment and where we're going that we don't realize how far we actually came already. So it's very important to have those moments of reflection. That's something I do every day in my meditation. Just, be grateful for where we're going, right? And what we've accomplished.
I always say that to my team. It's just like, yeah, it's not just about comping last year or growing. You just look at what we've done. And, our customers tell us, I think that's the best reward.
Yeah. If we go back to 3 years ago, DTC was just starting and you were building that out. If I were a brand that was getting ready to go into DTC, that I've been steeped into, maybe I have my own store, like physical stores, I'm wholesaler. Like, how should I start? Where do you begin with starting a DTC brand?
I would start with educating myself. Like, you cannot build a DTC brand if you don't understand DTC. So bring, experts and leaders who've been doing that, but also educate yourself. Try to understand what this team is talking about. Understand the test and learn mentality. There's a very much a startup mindset also in DTC that you need to embrace, and agility also that you need to embrace. So education is not just on the technology side, but on the analytic one. It's really about the mindset that you need to be able to learn fast, scale fast, move on, etc. I think it's important specifically for CEOs and C-level to understand what it takes to get there. And the opposite is true too. Just like understanding wholesale coming from DTC took me some time, and I think I'm still learning on, how they operate and their strategies go forward. It's slower than DTC for sure, but it represents so much volume that, you understand that they're not taking as many risks as we do. But the main advice for me is just, you want to go into DTC, you want to be obsessed with your customers. That's it. You can build, the best platform, have the best, tech stack. If you do it for the wrong reason, it won't work. If the reason first is to serve your customers directly, have a two-way discussion, use what you learn to inform your overall strategy, yes. If you do it just for an additional revenue stream, you might never find success. You might lose yourself in spending too much, not getting the profitability that you want to see, et cetera, et cetera. But it's an exciting journey for sure to be omnichannel.
Absolutely. So now taking this D2C and having to, like you mentioned, test and learn. You're not going to, have all wins. You're going to have some, some failures and learnings along the way. You're using it as a lab to actually, test things out and see if it makes sense to move to other parts of the business. How do you keep leadership informed and on board and aligned with the things that you're doing? Because I know sometimes that pressure can come down from the CEO or the board, hey, we're not meeting our goals. What's happening here? How do you keep that group energized and aligned with the work that you're doing?
I think it's, again, going back to customers and having a clear vision of your strategy, not operating on the day-to-day only, like looking at your sales comps, ROAS, etc. Yes, we do look at this, but we have a vision. I can share an example. We really decided end of last year, even if we're a full price premium brand, we had to play the promo game a little bit last year for inventory management challenges, as all of our competitors. Did we go deep? No, but we had to be more promotional. And then we really decided over, this year to shift that and go back to our full price roots. We have a product that's a gem. It comes more expensive than, our direct, but there's a reason why, and that's why we have so much loyalty. You try it and you keep buying it. It was important to us. So we shifted our strategy towards, full price only. Yes, if you look just at your comps now, you're not driving as much volume than you did last year, but you're really educating your customers not to wait for this promo moment and drive a successful full price business. At this point, we're up, all in the strong, single digit in sales in full price. But if you do that, and just after 3 months, you're just like, yeah, but the volume's not there. Now you're aligned on the objectives, you're aligned on the KPIs you're looking at, and you have at least a 2 or 3 year vision of where you want to be. That's how you become profitable, right? You have to go through the journey, right? And all align on the objectives. So that's really how we do that. We have, a 3-year roadmap. We have, a year-long, strategy at my level. And then we remind everyone every time, that was the strategy. and we're on track.
Love it. Yes, absolutely. In my book, I talk about like pounding the drum of purpose. And it's like, making sure that you keep everybody aligned and you're pounding that drum. Like, this is why we're doing it. And
Exactly. And that's, we all experience that. Working for even large corporations where everyone has a different agenda.
yes,
You can always complain and say, hey, look at their KPI here. Like it's not delivering, but that was not the focus, right? So I think that's really refreshing at my level to be able to work for a mid-sized company where you have alignment because you have then the freedom and then the responsibility to deliver on the strategy.
yeah, absolutely. And I love that you're keeping it customer focused, like keeping that, like, as your North Star, like we're doing these things for, the consumer, our consumer. And that's so refreshing to hear. It's like thinking about like that consumer, like when we talked in New York, we were discussing like what matters to them. And it was really interesting what you said. And like we talked like, well, is it value? Is it a certain style or, colors? And you're like, no, it's not really that. It's something else. Like, just tell us a little bit about like, really what's important to the Hanky Panky consumer, because I thought that was just so awesome to hear.
Yeah, I think, when I joined, I didn't really understand the scale of the love behind our product. And I think, many times I'm asked, how can you still be successful with this brand after 47 years? Do we have the marketing budgets or the celebrities that, back up some other intimate brand? No, we don't. But we're still here and we're still growing. So that's because since day one, it was this obsession with uplifting women every single day and evolving with women. You'll see one keyword, that I always use for my team is we need to design and market based on being relevant and not just based on objectives. Women go through a lot of things and they don't have one objective in life is being sexy for someone else. That is not just an obsession for women. They have way other things going on in their lives, and we don't want to limit them to what they look like and what they look like for someone else. So really this obsession around women, understanding their anatomy, how they move, what they go through. Imagine, you were a first-time mom, you just had a baby, like you want to feel yourself again, feminine, etc. If you have an important meeting, your underwear makes you feel powerful, even if no one sees it. Or in the morning when you wake up, that's the first thing you do. You choose your underwear to how you want to feel during that day. Understanding all the nuances, women from a physical perspective and emotional perspective is key to us. We're 99% recommended. We have only 5-star reviews because we take the time to do that. An example comes to mind when we just launched our first structured bras. It took us years, to do that. Instead of just launching, a new bra every 2 weeks, that's fast fashion. We took years. We did word tests with buyers, with customers, with content creators, with internal teams, etc. And then inspired me for the campaign when we launched. Instead of launching a beautiful campaign with this amazing, model, we just invited 100 women, diverse background, to tell us how they feel about their boobs. Because there are a lot of things that are not said about how women feel, the social pressure, the disease that they might, face in their life. To be able to show that when you listen to women, you can create a product that starts to answer to, to their pain points or what they're looking for. So that's really an obsession for sure. And to answer with more data, when we ask our customers why they love us so much and why our loyalty is so high, it goes back to the durability of our product. Number one, this product, we have customers reaching out. I love these stories about, being gifted, Hanky Panky underwear for their wedding. They got divorced 10 years after, and they said the thing that remained is my Hanky Panky is still here. During this year, the product won't move over years of usage, and two, it's really about how it makes them feel, the flattering fit, the comfort, etc. So we want to stick to that. We will never change that. Even if we want to launch, new products, and sometimes we look at our competitors and we're just like, oh my gosh, they're launching this and this and this. We're not going in this space. Like, we really want to offer the best products out there.
That's amazing. I love it. It's all about how, how you make them feel. And I just want to give you a free ad. So for me, you can throw it up on social media, but more reliable than your husband, Hanky Panky. There you go.
Well, it's also a great gift for husbands, right? It's a one size, fits most, so you can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Holiday season, Valentine's Day are coming. These are big moments for us because, except, flowers and flowers, sorry, and chocolate, you can find, lingerie that will make you feel good also when you gift it, because your partner will appreciate it and then fit into it.
All right, let me just take that note real quick before I forget. That's awesome, Sabrina. Sorry. So consumer need, or the consumer sentiment that you're trying to really capture, is making them feel empowered, making them feel good about themselves, no matter what stage of their life. And I love that. That is so inspirational. Like, how do you measure that? Like, how is that measured?
So it's measured by day-to-day reviews. For sure, we monitor that. That was my obsession. We have the best customer service team out there. It's really at the level, it's white glove service. So they're in touch with customers all the time. We have our stores also to get this feedback. But from a data perspective, it's my repurchase rate. It's my loyalty. It's the LTV of my existing customers. Honestly, I've never seen that in my life. Even if I work, for very successful brands, the level of loyalty and love and trust that we get from customers is amazing. I think something that I want to focus on is how do I, and it's the lingerie business. It's the first time I'm in lingerie. I was in apparel. It was easier, but how do you turn these, very loyal customers into advocates for your brand? How do you turn them into a solid community behind women, advocating for women? That's something that I want to focus on over the next few years, because I think there are a lot of things that are not right for women, but also a lot of things that we can do as a community, as a brand, to really uplift women, and something that we haven't covered, but protect our planet. The way the crazy production on lingerie from production to end of life is insane. So how do you make a positive impact as a brand, as a company, on your customers, but also on the environment and the planet around you? Talking about, how do we do that? We align that these are key things that we want to accomplish. And there's no data behind it. It's just the deep purpose of the company that we stick to, no matter what. That makes us, make decisions that might go against, sales sometimes, but that's for the long run.
It goes to a deeper purpose, which is amazing. Actually, I just had a conversation with the president of Applegate, Joe O'Connor, and he was talking about like where it's all about regenerative agriculture, and it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be tougher to accomplish and get everybody on board, but they know they're doing it for the right reasons. So even if it's cutting into that bottom line, you're doing it with purpose, and your consumers are going to appreciate that and really support. Sustainability is such a big initiative right now.
I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing so much growth coming from younger customers on DTC. I think they understand, the value of having a product that can last, and make them feel good, but also coming from a company that tries, as well as our customers, to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, two women to make sure that it's happening. We have the two founders are still around, and they're still, with us every day, and making sure that we respect and celebrate, what they built. And I think it's relevant, and it's long-term thinking, and not just short-term gains. Of course, it's important, but it's the only reason we work hard every day.
Yeah, it does come down to that balance, and that's how you build a brand of the future, right? And it's just awesome to see the evolution of Hanky Panky going from wholesale into now 50-50 D2C and wholesale to thinking about what is that, that future community and sustainability aspects that Hanky Panky can deliver as well. So to stay completely relevant to consumers.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And I just love it still, like, it's just like that intangible benefit of how it makes consumers feel. So like, I want to make that like the audience challenge today, just thinking about like, how does your company, your brand make your consumer feel? Like, don't worry about the tangible benefits of your company at this point, or your brand at this company. Think about the intangibles. Like, what are those things? And I love how you're measuring it on two fronts, like making sure you're staying in touch with your customers and talking to them constantly, going online and looking at those reviews, but then also looking at the hard data and saying, well, look at loyalty, look at the repeat purchase, look at the transaction size. You can see these things that are also evidence that points to it. So it's awesome to see what you're doing.
Makes me think about a quote that I love, and I don't remember who wrote it, but it resonates with me. Just like, people will forget what they saw, people will forget what they heard, but they will never forget how you make them feel. Isn't it, what marketing should do? I think that's it.
Yeah. So that's what it all comes down to. And that's an awesome way to end this podcast here. I love that quote. Anything else that you wanted to tell the audience?
Yeah, I think just, think about your relevance. We have new generations coming up also. They behave in a different way. Even if these are not your core customers yet, these are your future customers. So how do you remain relevant with your core customer, but also understand the future generations and build your brand relevance to what's going on in their lives, in the society, in what will happen, next? I think that's important. As marketers and leaders, we should never lose that objective. So do everything to remain relevant, and then business will follow.
Absolutely. Awesome. Sabrina, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Some amazing insights. Just so grateful to have you here.
Thank you, Mike. It was my pleasure. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
We have made it to the end of another episode. Thank you for tuning in. A couple of things before you go. If you have found value in this episode, I am sure you'll find value in what we have coming up. So please subscribe so you will have access and know when we launch the next episode. Also, leave a review. The more reviews we have, the further our reach becomes, and I truly want this to be heard by as many leaders as possible. Don't hog this all for yourself. I would love to hear your insights on this topic, so meet me on social media at Matt Mueller Innovation on LinkedIn and Instagram. And lastly, if you want to learn more about my story and what I can do for you and your company, go to themindfulinnovator.com. I would love to help you innovate on purpose. Until next time, just remember, bring a level of awareness to each conversation, each observation, each moment, and you can create great change in this world. Thank you.